Hey there, this is John from Heroes and Legends, and welcome to another edition of the Magic the Gathering Market Watch. As always, we're going to take a close look at Modern and Standard and how those cards have been affected by the metagame in the market. As far as Modern goes, it's been pretty stagnant. It's technically not quote-unquote modern season, so those values haven't changed too much, but Standard's been very volatile, as you could imagine, considering the metagame has shifted quite a bit over the last few weeks with the release of Battle for Zendikar and a lot of new brews coming to the forefront. So let's go ahead and jump into Standard by looking at the top 5 cards that have lost value this week. Coming in at number 5 is Hardened Scales. This lost 45 cents, bringing it down to $3.99. Now, this card has seen a little bit of fringe play this weekend, so keep an eye out for this. Now, if you can pick these up for under $4 and you're interested in brewing with this, you can probably get a pretty good deal. If the decks that are running this start to gain momentum, this could go up, so keep an eye on this one. Number 4 is See the Unwritten. This lost 59 cents, bringing it down to $4.49. Now, prior to Battle for Zendikar's release, there's a lot of speculation that this might help power out some Eldrazi's or give you some value with allies. That really hasn't happened. And there is an Eldrazi ramp deck that's starting to gain some momentum out there, but this isn't really part of most of the builds of it. So I think it's going to continue to fall off. Number 3 is Shaman of the Forgotten Way. He's lost 59 cents, bringing him down to $7.99. Here's the issue with this card. On paper, it seems like a good idea, especially prior to Zendikar coming out. You could possibly maybe push out some Converge with this. But the mana bases are just so good that he's just not necessary. When you have fetch lands that can get you battle lands, you really don't need to take up space in your deck with Shaman of the Forgotten Ways, unfortunately. So I think this one's also going to continue to drop. Number 2 is Jace Avern's Prodigy. He lost 66 cents, bringing him down to $73.04. So Jace just spiked incredibly a few weeks back, and he was up to $80. Whenever a card spikes like that, it's going to start to come down to a more normal value. So here's the thing. Jace is seeing tons of play. He's going to continue to see tons of play as long as he's legal and standard. And he's even seeing modern play. I've seen some folks trying to shoehorn him into Legacy. I don't know if that's going to work, but it speaks to the power of this card, especially for its 2 casting cost. This is going to be a great card and a great investment long term. However, there's still a lot of Magic Origins product out there, and it's getting opened all the time. You can still get boxes of Magic Origins for $85, $90. You can see fat packs and boosters all over the place at big box stores. So more and more of these are getting open, and even though there is a strong demand for this card, and that's probably not going to change, the supply is getting a little bigger. So continue to watch this one. It's probably going to come down some more. Number 1 is Dragonlord Ojutai, and much like Jace, he saw a little bit of a spike recently because of some play in Standard. This week he lost 90 cents, going down to $26.90. Again, normal stabilization. Nothing to be surprised at since he recently spiked. Alright, what about the top 5 standard cards that have gained value this week? Coming in at number 5 is Secure the Waste. This increased 44 cents, bringing it up to $4. Now, there is a tokens deck, a green-white tokens deck out there that's gaining some momentum and doing quite well. There were a few copies floating around at the Pro Tour, and even though it wasn't a deck that you saw a lot of, it did very well and had a very high percentage making it to day 2. And because of that, over the course of the next few weekends, this is seeing more and more play. So keep an eye on this. You may want to pick these up while you can get them for $4. Number 4 is Bloodstained Mire. This gone up 52 cents, bringing it to $21.95. Now, all the fetch lands are hot. I say this every single week. If you don't have yours yet, you need to bite the bullet and get them. This one in particularly, though, is hot because it is part of the Dark Jeskai mana base. Next we have Liliana, Heretical Healer. She went up 60 cents, bringing her up to $25.61. This is a pretty fair price for her. I think she's going to go up a little more. I don't know if she's going to break $30, but she's seeing a little bit of play here and there. She was great in the Aristocrats deck. As long as that deck continues to gain momentum, she'll be a hot card. But she's also seeing play in some other decks as well. I've even seen her in some Dark Jeskai builds. Number 2, this is new to our list. Ugin, the Spirit Dragon, going up 75 cents, bringing him to $28.89. He's been a huge control card, especially in an environment where there is a little bit of ramp. And now that there's a Eldrazi ramp deck out there that's starting to gain momentum and is doing pretty well, it actually finished quite highly over the last week. This card's going to probably continue to increase in value, so keep an eye out for Ugin. Number 1 is Nissa Vastwood Seer. She's gone up 92 cents, bringing her up to $26.80. Very similar to Liliana. She's seeing play in a number of different decks, even if it's not 4-ofs. She's just maintaining a presence out there. Because of that, I think she's going to continue to go up a little bit. She might not break $30, but I think she's going to be easily a $25 to $30 card. All right, let's take a look at Modern. Now, like I said, Modern is going to be a little more stagnant. A lot of the same cards we've seen over the last couple weeks, but let's jump in. Number 5 is Ensnaring Bridge, and this one lost 91 cents, bringing it down to $21.37. Now, the Ensnaring Bridge deck gained a lot of hype a few weeks back. It was doing pretty well in a couple tournaments, and because of that, this card spiked, and now, much like the other cards we saw in Standard, after the spike, it's going to stabilize, and that's what we're seeing here. Now, this deck is pretty easy to sideboard against. You want to be wary about this as an investment, but if you want to pick these up to play the deck, definitely do so. You can probably find these for around $20. This, in particular, is the 8th edition version we're looking at. Number 4 is Cryptic Command. So this lost 92 cents, bringing it down to $30. Here's the deal with Cryptic Command. It's not a card you necessarily want 4 of in your Modern deck. So it's going to have a little less demand as some other cards in Modern. On top of that, this was printed in the last 2 Modern Master sets. So over the last 3 years, this was in those sets at the rare slot. A lot of copies have been moved into the market. So I think this is going to continue to drop. This is probably more like a $20 to $25 card, at least for the time being. So keep an eye out for this one. You may be able to get a better deal on it. Number 3 is Vendilion Click, and this in particular is the Modern Masters 2015 selfie stick version of the card. It lost $1, bringing it down to $40.94. Much like the previous card, this has been printed. Now, this has been at the Mythic slot, not the Rare slot, but still a lot of copies have gone into the wild. As a matter of fact, Modern Masters 2015 can still be purchased for under MSRP. I've recently just seen boxes out there for $200, $205. So if you really want this product, it's still there. Once Battle for Zendikar started coming out, people kind of left this behind. I think for 2 reasons. There's a lot of hype around Zendikar, and also there's a lot of manufacturer defects with this product and kind of turned people off. So it's out there, and if you want it, you can get it for a reasonable price. Next, we have Grove of the Burn Willows, and this lost $1.42, bringing it down to $57.44. This card's on either the hot or cold list every single week. It just jumps back and forth. It's not much more I can say about it. It's going to be a good card if you're in those colors and you need the color fixing. It's fantastic. It's a staple in Modern, and even though it lost $1.42, don't let that worry you, because probably in a week it will gain $3. It's just the way it is. Number 1 is Tarmogoyf. This is the Modern Masters 2015 version of the card. It lost $2.11, bringing it down to $147.68. So a couple things here. This is the least sought after version of the card. Again, if you're going to invest $150 in a card, people are a little wary about this one because of some of the manufacturer defects. Also, on the flip side of that coin, though, if I just need some Tarmogoyfs, this is probably the one to buy because it is going to be the cheapest one. Although cheap is relative, considering it's still almost $150. So I'm a little surprised this card is as down as it is, considering Jund is making a comeback in Modern. So keep an eye on Tarmogoyf. Even this version of it is probably going to see an increase again pretty soon. All right, let's look at the top 5 cards from Modern that have gained a value this week. Number 5 is Liliana of the Vale, and she's increased 55 cents, bringing her up to $24.97. So this is going to be one to watch. So last night, Halloween night, it was announced that the April set is going to be Shadows over Innistrad, and the speculation has already begun about what cards from Innistrad are going to be reprinted in the next two sets for this new block. And Liliana is one that's already been mentioned. Now, personally, I don't think she's going to see a reprint in Shadows over Innistrad or the next set, but the speculation could lead to a softening in her price. So keep an eye out on this one. She could continue to lose some value. However, at any moment, Mark Rosewater or somebody else from Wizards could try to adjust expectations and come out there with a statement, hey, guess what? She's not being reprinted. At that moment, she'll spike again. So it is a little bit of a gamble. Keep an eye on this one. She'll probably go down a little bit for the time being. Number 4 is Sword of Fire and Ice. It's gone up 63 cents, bringing it up to $45.40. And this is just a great equipment card for a lot of modern decks. If you're going to run a sword, this is probably still the best one and will be the one that you choose if you're only choosing one. Number 3 is Glen Alendra Archmage. She's gone up 76 cents, bringing her up to $9.83. She sees a lot of play in different control decks, but one of them is the Merfolk deck, and I think that's the one that's driving the value a little bit. Next, we have Kira Great Glass Spinner. Speaking of Merfolk decks, this has gone up 82 cents, bringing it up to $12.87. So Kira does see play in a number of decks in Modern, typically decks that are running a lot of creatures or tribal, but again, the biggest one of those is Merfolk. And the number 1 card in Modern for the second week in a row is Crucible of Worlds. The 10th edition version has gone up 79 cents, bringing it up to $45.78, and the 5th Dawn version has gone up 98 cents, bringing it to $43.54. Now, this is being driven a little more by Legacy than it is Modern. It makes our list because it is a Modern legal card, but this is seeing play in the Lands deck in Legacy, which is, I think, why the increase is happening. Now, this could get soft, though. The metagame has just shifted dramatically in Legacy now that Dig Through Time's been banned, and there's a lot more diversity in Legacy in general. For a while, it was basically decks that are running Dig Through Time and the Lands deck. So the Lands deck, even though it's still seeing play, and it did see play at the Star City Games Open last weekend, and I'm sure we'll continue to see play, keep an eye on it. This one might get a little softer now. So having said that, hey, thanks as always for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe, and have a great day.
Hey, thanks as always for watching. This video, like all my videos, was made possible by the generous support of viewers like you on Patreon. Even a donation of $1 helps me to keep growing this community and creating better quality videos for all of you. Check out our Patreon page for exclusive giveaways and future goals for the channel. If you haven't had a chance yet to subscribe, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of the MTG news, spoilers, set reviews, product openings, or finance videos on Heroes and Legends. Talk to you again soon, and have a good day.